changes impact how we lead our clubs and how we support each other. But even beyond the updates and requirements, TLI is a chance to ask questions you've been sitting on for months or maybe even years and finally get answers. And here's what I believe is the most important and valuable part of TLI. It's where we come together, brand new officers and seasoned leaders, to learn, listen, and lead together. This is where fresh energy meets hard-earned wisdom. This is where connections are made that carry us through the challenges of the year. This is where we remember that we're not in this alone. So I encourage you to lean in, share what you know, ask what you don't, and be open to the insights that only come when we gather like this, side by side. Thank you for saying yes to leadership. Thank you for showing up today. And thank you for helping us build a stronger, more vibrant District 57. And let's get started. I wanted to introduce the trio. And let's start. Did Sally say, our district director, Sally Philbin?
That would be me.
You're going first.
So we're doing the outgoing trio first. Got it.
Yes.
Yes. Two of us, just to be clear. Hello, Toastmasters. The rhythm of Toastmasters and the rhythm of District 57 continues, and it continues to continue as it has for almost 70 years. It gives a sense of stability as we move forward, conducting these officer trainings as we do twice every year. I used to be one of those people that said, I've been president. Why do I have to keep going back? Why? And then when I took a step back, I realized that if not at every training, certainly at almost every training, I learned something new. Some tidbit, something that I could use to help me in my journey forward. Something that made life just a little bit easier. The other thing I discovered was that I began to be able to share things that I had learned and experiences that I'd had years previous. And that gave me a great sense of satisfaction. Another thing that happened is that sometimes I shared something that I thought was the perfect answer to whatever we were talking about. And someone else raised their hand and added something, and I went, oh, well, guess what? There's another best practice. So open your eyes, open your ears, be willing to hear all about the different possibilities. As we do twice every year, there's always a nugget to be found. Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad that you could be here this morning. And guess what? I'm going to be a club officer this coming year, so I'm looking forward to my officer training. Back to you, Tiffany.
Thank you so much, Sally. And next, we will give the platform to Jeffrey Young, our outgoing club growth director and incoming program quality director. Jeff Young.
Thank you, Tiffany. And I would just kind of keep this simple for the moment because you'll be hearing me talking a lot today. But the most important thing that you take away from this TLI is that you're here to learn. You're here to find that extra bit of information you didn't have yesterday. And above all, you're here to help each other. Because in your breakout sessions, you're going to be working with other people who may have done this job before 100 times. Well, not 100 times, but enough that they may have things that you have not thought about. The instructor has been handpicked and hand invited, and sometimes in some cases, and as a British joke here, hand pulled into the situation here. But all of us are here to help you and be part of your experience. Also, welcome to people who are brand new to Toastmasters that are invited to the later session on onboarding. This is an experiment, but the instructor knows what they're doing, so please help them out. Remember to applaud for people. But the other thing about it for the officers, one note is that the control panel for Entering people who have taken training credit is not open yet. I imagine they'll be open July 1st. So don't panic when nothing shows up in your scoreboard until after July 4th. Got it? Okay. Back to you, Madam TLI Dean.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Next, we will have Dennis Dawson, our incoming club growth director.
Lindy.
You want Lindy first? Not Dennis?
Yes.
Okay. Lindy, our incoming district director. Welcome, Lindy.
Thank you, Tiffany, and thank you, Jeff, and welcome everybody. This is the time when club officers get the best possible training. So I know that we have backup trainings and they're good too, but this is where we get the best trainers. So you are in the best place possible. That said, I'd like to thank everybody who is going to be a club officer. As you know, we couldn't run the clubs without you, and we are very grateful to you for being here and getting trained to do a good job for the next 6 months or year, whichever you've chosen. Now, how many of you are officers for the first time? Hands up, please. Thank you. Okay, so you're going to get a lot of information thrown at you, and you'll take in whatever you can take in. And believe me, you won't be able to take in everything. But the best way to take it all in is to have the attitude that you'll take in what you can take in, and that you will go to your predecessor to find out what you missed. So make good friends with your predecessor if you're not already good friends with them, so you can get the additional information that you want. And now I'd like to talk to the people who've been here many times before, or at least for the second time. How many officers are here for at least the second time? And that includes me, of course. I've been in Toastmasters in this district for 35 years, so I've been to these approximately 70 times. And what I can tell you is that you can, again, it's all about your attitude. You can just go into a, I'm going to be bored, it's not going to be anything for me attitude, or you can go into, there will be one gem for me today, something I haven't heard before, or I haven't heard in this way, something I can take away and use. If you have that attitude, you'll be on the alert to get that extra special little something. So I encourage you to do that. I want to thank Tiffany for organizing this and Jeff Young, and make sure that everybody has the attitude that they're going to have a good time and learn good things today. Back to you, Tiffany.
Thank you so much, Lindy. And now, Dennis Dawson, the incoming club growth director. Dennis?
Hey, it's me. Everyone, thank you so much for trusting me as a member of the trio this year. I am jacked up to jump into the club growth director role. Now, you're probably familiar with the club mission, which is to empower your members to develop communication skills and leadership skills, fostering self-confidence and personal growth within a supportive and positive learning environment. Most people don't know that we also have a district mission. And the district mission is to build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. So the purpose of the training today is to be sure that we are empowering our clubs to be excellent by having excellent officers who are well trained. So thank all of you for your service today. Now that takes care of building our clubs, but we also have to start new clubs. When I was district director in 2010, there were 150 clubs in our district, and now we're down to just about 100. It is my big audacious goal this year to start 25 new clubs, but I can't do that alone. We need area directors to step up. I'm very pleased to say that we have a number of great appointees from areas A, B, and C, but those of you who are from Division D or Division E, we're looking for candidates. So if you are looking toward getting your Distinguished Toastmaster Award at some time in the future, not everyone can be a DTM because you have to be a district officer in order to earn that capability. But we still have roles to be filled and people aren't stepping up. So everyone who wants to be a Distinguished Toastmaster can be. And if you are interested in pursuing the DTM, if you're interested in serving the district as an area director, please contact me, Dennis at d57tm.org, or Lindy at d57tm.org, or Jeffrey at D57TM, wait for it, .org. And we will tell you all about the fun of being an area director. I will tell you, it is the best experience. All of the fun in Toastmasters begins when you get outside the four walls of your club. Thanks very much. Back to you, Tiffany.
Thank you so much, Dennis. We are a little bit ahead of schedule, so we have time for Michelle. You have a question? You're on mute.
Sorry, that was left over from an answer. I thought it would go away, but it didn't.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. No worries.
I do have one very important bit of housekeeping to do before we continue. And
Yes.
that is for those of you who are dignitaries in the room, especially Linda Patton, the outgoing program quality director, please turn on your cameras, raise your hands, and we can acknowledge you properly or improperly, as you will. Like I see immediate past President Ed Cullen in the room. I see Janet Voss, the outgoing Division D director. I see Michael Oser, past division governor. Yes, no?
International Director Greg Scott as well.
I do not see Greg Scott on my screen, but I apologize for that.
So Greg and Michael.
Okay, Greg and Mike, the Greg and Michael show? Hey, that sounds like a good TV thing. There's Greg on the second screen. All right. Anybody else I am missing, please sing out so I know who you are. Just say your name and what you've done, if you will.
Maureen Filler, past Division A director, immediate past, right?
Yes.
Bill
Outgoing.
Meyer, past district governor.
Yeah, not for another week, Maureen.
Ashley Harkness, past district governor.
There he is. I need to make you a co-host.
Sue Skiff, Division B director.
All right.
Carrie Keegan, Division E director.
Aaron Van, Division D director.
Incoming. Welcome. You need to sign up for training, sir.
I did.
Okay, thank you.
And I see that Linda Thompson is here, our PRM, and our
Lisa.
PRM next year too. Hi, Lisa.
All right.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Anyone else? In that case, thank you everyone for coming. And those of you who are outgoing people, thank you for showing up. And also thank you for continuing to be part of the Toastmasters experience. Sometimes people go, why was I a leader again? And disappear forever. Please don't do that. We need you because you are an inspiration for leaders of today and tomorrow and next week. And hopefully some of you will find the people who we need to fill our remaining area director spots. Back to you, Tiffany. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff. And thank you for all the outgoing and incoming officers and dignitaries. We appreciate you so much. And now we are going to go into our hot topics. Our next speaker is Jeff Young. Sometimes they say that inspiration is one part aggravation, one part perspiration, and one part consternation. But the rest is good, clean fun. Jeff Young is 1.5 of those things, but he'll never tell you which. He's been a Toastmaster longer than a decade, but that doesn't make him decadent. He believes there's joy in public speaking once you get over that pesky fear of flying without notes. Please welcome Jeff Young, Club Growth Director, and he will be giving a talk about keys to your club success plan. Jeff Young, keys to your club success plan.
All right, thank you very much. And let me spell myself. Okay. Can everyone see my slides?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to say there's a whole bunch. You're going to get tired of this, but right now, this is the first time officially. One of the things that we learned at the trio training last January was that the club success plan, that annoying thing that some of you have to fill out every year, and some of you choose not to, is now required. District 57 has a mini club success plan that is much simpler and is a web form. Unfortunately, that is no longer valid. What is it valid for? Any club who has aspirations at all of being a distinguished club must fill out the Toastmasters.org official Club Success Plan, or CSP for short, before September 30th. If you're doing it already, perfectly fine. If you haven't done it before, they change things around and make it more complicated, and dare I say, needlessly so. But I'm going to go over some quick navigation things and what's in there and how to do it for you today in the 10 minutes that I have. And do we have it, Tiffany? Okay, you're the timer, yes. So keep an eye on the time for me, and let's begin. First of all, as I just said, you cannot get to Distinguished Club without it. Even if you have 10 points in the 25 members to be Smedley Distinguished, that's new this year, by the way. So above President Distinguished is now Smedley. Instead of 9 out of 10 and 20 members or better, it is 25 members or better and all 10 goals. There are a couple of people who actually got that this past year, but you don't get credit because it's not live until July 1st. So reach for the stars and do the thing. And as I basically have it here, the quote from Dave Carpenter, there's nothing you can't achieve if you help other people get what they want. The Club Success Plan, for those of you who have never touched it before, is simply your club plan to get to distinguished of some level or another. It is a declaration of what happens in your club for the year. And how many of you have heard of the moments of truth? If you haven't, it looks almost exactly like the Club Success Plan. How many of you have worked with your area directors to create your area club visit? It looks almost exactly like your Club Success Plan, just different places in different order. So how do you get that from here? If you're a club officer on July 1st, or if you happen to be one right now, you should be able to go to your profile when you, or rather your home screen when you get in, and it's run on a little bit. You'll have a little control here that says Club Central. If you're not an officer, you'll only see your base camp and learning hub, but you have to scroll down just a little bit, and this is where it trips up about 10% of the people. They say, where are my controls? Scroll down. Push the giant sided Club Central button, and on your next screen, scroll down a little bit more, you'll see club management as opposed to membership management on top, which is where you enter in brand new Toastmasters that have joined your club, and also the brand new-ish prospective member management controls, which we're not going to talk about today, but they want you to use that. The Club Success Plan is down here on the bottom in the green box. And once you click that, you'll get your very own personal club dashboard. As you can kind of see, this is from my club. My club is not very good at being a distinguished club, but there are only 11 of us, and some of us are not actually very active. So we're at 2 goals at the moment, but that don't let that stop you from thinking we want 5 at least. Point is that program year selector, it shows the past 3 years they've been doing this particular thing. So you want to switch yours to 2025, 2026 when it starts showing up. And then you scroll down and they have you stickers. I think somebody wanted to be happy with web stickers. Regardless of which, as you fill in your various goals, you will see all of the stickers start lighting up. In this case, our club got the training, which is, did we go to training? Yes, we did. And the administration, did you get your officer list on time? And did you pay your dues on time? So remember, the deadline for getting your officer list on time is June 30th. That is 9 days from now. For those of you who are not going to be officers next time around, please get your incoming officers to switch out your officer list before June 30th. The rest of this kind of gets murky. Most of these are about the Club Success Plan. As you can kind of see, we didn't finish ours officially. But that's because this part right here, as you can kind of see, is at 100%, 100%, 100%, and 90%. Somehow we missed filling things in and we did not get credit. So please fill in all of the fields in your Club Success Plan. That is probably the requirement. I have a phone call scheduled with TI on Monday to verify this, but regardless of which, you have to fill in all the sections, and it's kind of like the old club success plan where every single field had to be filled in. Annoying, but it's for the sake of completeness. So there are 6 sections in here. For those of you who can't read the fine print, they are committee values. Are you going to do the things in this plan, and your officers need to agree to this? Administration, like I mentioned, are you planning on going to the training? And also, who gets to pay the dues and who gets to answer new members? The training part is what you're doing right now. Are your officers trained? Who are the officers? Where are they going? Membership, how many members do you need for next year? You might be surprised that how many people miss the fact that to be distinguished, you have to have a growth of at least +3 members, +5 members is better, and over 20 is better than that, and 25 for Smedley. It's got to be 25, cannot be 24. It cannot be 20, it just has to be 25. Education, how many people are getting levels? And this is in pathways, it's the usual 4 level 1, 2 level 2, 2 level 3, 1 4 5 or DTM, another 4 5 D, 2 more level 2s off the top of my head, and I think that's the right amount. I'm trying to remember without looking at my slides for that. But regardless of which, get your levels in the right spots, or as Dennis says, overachieve, outdo, be outstanding. He doesn't actually say that. I'm not putting words in his mouth, really. He can kill me later. And finally, the most important part, contributing members. That is where everyone signs. There's a spot that says who is the signatories for this particular club success plan. Please have your officers all look at it, acknowledge, fill it in. Right now, the signature panel doesn't exist because it's locked down, but before September 30th, please make sure all of your officers have checked in, checked out, and said, yes, we're going to do this. There's also, as I put in the bottom, remember the action items. There's the ability to put up action items in your club success plan. And as you can kind of see back here, there are take action, in full action, and on time. Whoops, sorry. You can assign action items to people in your club success plan and then report back. If you have regular officer meetings, you can use this optionally to give people action items to complete and then have them check them off when they're done. This year, we're going to have our club do these things because action items, in my case, are cool. My club president maybe didn't quite agree with that or didn't remember to do this, but regardless of which, they're here. Use them if you will. And of course, if you finish early, then you'll get extra stickers for that. So for those of you who are web motivated, sticker motivated, go for your stickers, have fun. One other thing to look at, inside each of these big old panels are check boxes. So for this one, for the education program in particular, every single person in this list has to have a level of some sort checked off that they're going to complete. Whether they do it or not is up to your VPE to push people to do, but it's there for a reason because as you work on levels, it'll show you whether your scoreboard, as you can see on the right, we could have had 8 level 1 awards by the end of the year. So that's what it's for. Each of these is important. They're kind of slow at times, but open them up, fill them in completely as possible, get your credit for your CSP. Wrapping up, this is what you're doing for next year. If you have questions, again, I can be reached at Jeffrey, Jeffrey, like it says in my name on the panel, at d57tm.org. Happy to answer any questions. Back to you, Madam TLI Chair.
Thank you, Jeff. Our next speaker is Brendan James Murphy. Brendan joined our organization in 1997. He has had the advantage of being a member in and visiting many clubs. He has noticed that the successful clubs have a fun element. He observed how these clubs added this necessary element and shamelessly stole in these techniques for his own clubs and for the meeting he leads at work. He is a current member of 2 specialty clubs, Tales and Tellers and Laugh Lovers, which meet on alternate Sunday nights and which make him a better employee each Monday morning at Stanford Medicine, where he serves several tech teams as a Scrum Master by leveraging his Toastmasters communication and leadership skills. Please help me welcome distinguished Toastmaster James Murphy and his presentation, Putting the Fun Back into Toastmasters, Seriously. Brendan Murphy, Putting the Fun Back into Toastmasters, Seriously.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tiffany, fellow Toastmasters leaders, and of course, our welcome guests that are here today. I know what you're thinking. You are thinking, fun? Fun? In Toastmasters? Seriously? And my response to you is, yes, yes. I want to encourage you to make sure that you put fun as part of your club planning for success in this upcoming Toastmasters year. I want you to soar as a club, and fun is a vital element of that, of making people love and like the experience in Toastmasters and smile to all their friends and bring them into your club. In order to convince you of this today, I'm going to talk about what our founder, Ralph Smedley, said about fun. The serious fundamentals. These are the things that you need to have in order to build a club of fun, and then how to get people involved in order to help them have fun while also learning and fulfilling the mission of the club. Then I have to talk about humor, and it's a serious subject, so we'll get to that, of course. I'm going to give you a serious summary and then do a little fun conclusion along the way. So let's get started with our founder. Ralph Smedley said, "We learn best in moments of enjoyment." And he was so excited about his organization that over 20 years before we were founded in 1924, he was trying to convince young boys in his YMCA clubs to learn how to speak better. And in that practice, he asked them, what should we name ourselves? The debate group, the oratorical society? And they were like, no, no, no. They made up their own word, toast and masters. They slammed it together, portmanteau style, and that is our name. And they wanted that toast because they know toasts are part of an enjoyable, fun celebration. So they wanted that in there, and they wanted the ability to say, yeah, we want to master our ability to speak well and lead well. So toast and masters smashed together to embody a fun-loving educational organization. Those are our origins. Now, in Toastmasters, we have a great foundation for successful clubs. The first and most important thing is we have to have ability to be hospitable, not only to brand new guests who we want to join, but also the current members. That hospitality gets us open to the experience of learning together and enjoying the experience of learning together. Without hospitality, you're dead as a club. And now a club needs to be organized, and that's why you're here. The officers put that organization together so every time you have a meeting, it's well constructed. And if it is well constructed, you have to communicate that construct to the members and the guests in attendance. So it has to be agenda-sized. If without an agenda communicated in some way, electronically, printed, or if the printer doesn't work, you have to at least go through it orally to say, here's what we got going. So people know what's coming up. And I find at work that this technique of agendizing everything makes my meeting invites more clear on what we're going to cover. It's very effective for me at work, and I've seen it in effective clubs, making sure that they have that agenda. And then energy. You need energy from the president, from the Toastmaster of the day, other people doing leadership roles within the meeting or within the business portion of the club meeting. And of course, we energize through applause. And as ever since COVID, applause has been going way down. We've tried to pump it up, but please use that applause, which guests always going, why are you applauding all the time? We do it all the time for energy. Please remember that, because if you want people to feel open to having fun, they need to feel the energy from you first. And it is timely. Toastmasters clubs have meetings that start on time and end on time. If you end a little early, okay. If you end late, that is a major crime. So remember that timeliness is part of that foundation. At work, if my meetings end late, then people get late to other meetings and it causes a lot of consternation. It's a principle that applies within Toastmasters and without. If a club doesn't have this, and I've seen clubs without all these 5 aspects, they eventually either die off or they kind of get reborn with a coach or a mentor and they make it happen, but they have to go through a rebirth process. So make sure you have this before you think about fun. But when it's time to thinking about fun, you want to get people involved, something that's fun involving of everybody. And the first thing I would recommend is theming. Most Toastmasters meetings I've seen have a theme. It's not required. I knew an old Toastmaster from way back when who refused to use themes when he was a Toastmaster. It was too silly for him, but it's fun. And it provides fun for other aspects of the meeting where the Toastmaster and maybe the president at the end of the meeting can connect what has been said and what has been shared together. And people enjoy when those connections are acknowledged. I make connections with my coworkers. I say, how was your trip? And other people go, oh, how's the weather in Wisconsin? And that connection is very enjoyable, very fun, also challenging. And this especially comes to the table topics master. I want you to challenge people because if they fail on table topics, what happens? Absolutely nothing. We applaud. And there are people out there who said, oh, I don't like that question, I'll take the other one. No, that's wrong. You have to challenge them. And then you always have to be creating new little ways within that fun platform, that foundational platform, and creating that as well. And then celebration. I have had clubs that we used to do post-toasties. I've had holiday parties, summer barbecues, and of course, celebrations within the meeting. That celebration, especially when somebody gets an educational award, is a big thing. So make that part of what you do to get people involved. Now, in 2001, I was at a spring conference and the keynote speaker said, hey, you may try to be funny, but first try to be fun. And I think that is important because humor takes a lot of effort. Professional comedians spend a lot of time on their material and their delivery. So humor is a serious business for them, but it's also dangerous for you. So if you want your club to have a little humor, choose wisely. Make sure it doesn't offend anybody. So fun versus funny, go for fun and maybe add a little bit funny along the way. So in summation, fun is seriously in our name, Toastmasters. Leverage the Toastmasters practices as a platform for the fun, involve everyone and everything to make the meetings fun. And if you want to add humor, choose wisely. And finally, to conclude, I want to encourage you to have fun as an important part of your meetings, your goal throughout this upcoming Toastmasters years, because Dennis Dawson, our Laugh Lovers Club president, likes to say, if it's not fun, it's not Toastmasters. Toastmaster Tiffany.
Thank you so much, Brendan.